Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Mike Wood. Good morning. If you are already a subscriber of the Wrap, then you should have a full edition of the Wrap in your inbox. I sent it last night. If you're a subscriber on LinkedIn, you'll get a truncated version of it this morning. And if you haven't seen any of it, I'm here to go through it. So this week, Intuit drops an HCM platform straight into 18 million payroll customers. Workday rolls Sana into Microsoft 365 Copilot. Eightfold says 90% of enterprise software will be custom built in the future, and they may not be wrong. Oracle tells laid off workers, take it or leave it. UKG goes full agentic on payroll. Workvivo reunites the Glint band. Built-in wants to be the glass door for ChatGPT. Ashby bought Talent Llama. I'll give you 5 minutes on the labor market. We talk workforce development with Scooch. And the fresh hell of the week, your boss's new AI wants to know why you're scowling. So let's get at it. Hit the theme song.
It's the Wrap, HR Tech News and Shenanigans. It's the Wrap. Here's your host, Mike Wood.
All right, here's my thesis for this week is that the hiring funnel is completely collapsed with all the news tools out there. So let's picture it this way. It's 2030. I wake up. Ziggy, my work agent, has had a busy night. He's completed 2 interviews with corporate agents while I slept. He passed one. He declined on another because it was a director role at a Series C. And Ziggy remembered I told him 18 months ago I want to stay an individual contributor while my kids are in high school. And he took me at my word. But that's the world I'm working towards in this piece. And the reason it works is that the hiring funnel I knew in 2026 today doesn't really exist anymore, at least not in the same value. The whole shape of how work gets matched to workers collapsed somewhere between the layoffs and the agents. The old funnel had 7 stages, and most of them were friction: job posting, application, resume screen, phone screen, assessment, interview loop, offer. 7 steps, lots of waiting and ambiguity in between. The new pipeline is going to be 3 stages. Stage 1, the listen. Your agent is in the market every day, whether you are or not. There's no job posting in the way that you remember it. Roles exist as structured intent inside corporate agents. This is the work. This is the team. This is the constraint. This is the budget. Your agent reads all of them all the time and knows which ones are worth your attention. Now, stage 2, the match. Your agent has been in conversation with 3 corporate agents, because they also have their agents, and you didn't write a single bullet point to make it happen. None of them asked for a resume. The career LLM has been reading your actual work for years. The projects you forgot to put on LinkedIn, the meeting transcripts where you talk to client off a ledge, the code, the writing, the way you describe problems in Slack. It knows you better than any document you would have produced about yourself. And stage 3, the meeting. The corporate agent has narrowed down 1,400 applicants to 4 humans, and you're one of them. You walk in at 11 o'clock. There's no ambiguity left to manage, no mystery about whether you're going to be a fit on paper. The paper is gone, and the fit was confirmed 3 layers of the machine ago. Now, what's left is the only thing that agents can't do: 2 humans in a room deciding whether they want to work together. I think that's where the human comes into the loop here. So now, walk back through the old 7 stages and tell me which one of them still has the value it had 2 years ago. The job posting, most likely cut and pasted from your last rec or hallucinated by a Gen AI. Application, anyone who's submitted one through Workday knows that this is a joke. You upload the resume, the parser shreds it into the wrong fields, and then you retype the same information over and over again. The resume itself, it reads more like an obituary. It's past tense, third person, hopeful, boilerplate, and it's stripped of anything that sounds like the actual person. The screen is done at the agent layer. It's instant. The assessment, either Ziggy, your agent, carries the proof, the actual work, anonymized and consented, or your corporate agent will quiz them on a specific assessment. The offer, that's the only thing that's left. Whether they want you, whether you want them, everything else was overhead. So that's the world Ziggy's getting me ready for. Meanwhile, we're still in 2026, and let's check out what's going on in the world of HR tech news this week.
HR Tech News of the Week.
So first off, this kind of came under the radar. I think it was late Friday, but anyway, Intuit announced QuickBooks Workforce on May 6th. So it's a full end-to-end end-to-end HCM platform built on QuickBooks' payroll, which already processes pay for 18 million US workers. Intuit just turned on an HCM stack inside the accounting platform they already use. And this is the same play Workday is going to run a couple slides from now with Microsoft. If you have a partner in reach, you ship your product through their pipes instead of building your own. The interesting question now is what happens to the SMB-focused HR tech vendors. Many of them have been priced for growth that assumed they'd be acquiring these customers one at a time. They were not pricing in Intuit waking up. This is something that is always kind of looming in the background of something that could happen. For example, one of the, like, Amazon is jumping in, but they're not jumping in with both feet. If they did, they could make some headway. Microsoft, if they decide to get into this, they could do a lot. I mean, you'll see a little bit that they're kind of finding their ways in, but there's always that looming threat that a giant player shifts focus. So let's move on to Workday. Workday announced this week that its Santa self-service agent is now generally available inside Microsoft's 365 Copilot. What does that mean in practice? It means employees can check vacation balances, time off, whatever they need to do in Workday. They can do it immediately inside Microsoft 365 Copilot. So the smart move here is distribution. Microsoft has been spent 2 years pushing Copilot into the enterprise. The install base is enormous. Whether an employee already has Microsoft 365 license, Workday is now a prompt away. No new login, no separate app to train people on, no change management. It's the same play Intuit is running with QuickBooks Workforce. When you have a partner in reach, ship your product through the pipes instead of building your own. So this is one of those weeks where two of the biggest companies in HR tech told you the same thing on different stages. Stop making customers come find you. Show up where they actually are. Eightfold used its Cultivate 2026 conference to launch TalentForge. TalentForge is a platform designed to let enterprises build custom HR software on top of Eightfold's talent intelligence layer. In the announcement, their CEO stated, quote, 90% of enterprise software will be custom built in the future. And I think he might be onto something here. It's a bold prediction, but I think there's going to be a lot of customability that is going to come down the pipe, especially with these agents. So if these agents we've been talking about are reading and writing and reasoning across enterprise systems, the software wrapper becomes a lot less important. The data becomes an asset. The interface becomes whatever you need it to be in the workflow. Eightfold also rolled out 360 Interview and Workforce Readiness. 360 Interview is an AI interviewer that just like the ones many of their competitors have purchased this week, but theirs is built in-house. Workforce Readiness is something that I want to keep an eye on because it's being marketed as an AI coach, basically to show who in your organization is using AI and to coach them on using it. But I suspect it's also going to be a spying on people, and we'll see how that one lands. But the TalentForge bet is an interesting one. Eightfold is saying the future isn't us selling you another HCM module. It's you building exactly what you need on top of our intelligence layer. And that's a meaningfully different pitch than what most of the vendors in the category are making. TechCrunch's Julie Bort reported this week that the 20,000 to 30,000 employees Oracle cut via email on March 31st tried to organize for better severance, but Oracle flatly refused to negotiate. The terms explain the revolt. So 4 weeks of pay plus 1 week per additional year. It's capped at 26 weeks, 1 month of COBRA, which, by the way, when I was on COBRA 2 years ago or 3 years ago, for a family of 4 in Massachusetts, it was $1,800 a month. So COBRA is costly. And if you're only giving a month to your employees, geez. But the bigger one here is there's no acceleration of unvested restricted stock units. So one long tenured employee told Time that he lost $1 million in stock that was 4 months from vesting. And then there's the WARN Act turnaround that Ms. Bort uncovered this week. So hybrid workers at Oracle that were near the offices had discovered that Oracle had quietly classified them as remote. That sidesteps the 50 person per location threshold that triggers the federal 2-month notice requirement. That's not a clerical accident, it's legal architecture. I bring this up because it's the other side of the agent and automation story that we've been telling all show. the companies that are most aggressive about replacing people with software are also the ones running the toughest exits. The HR tech narrative likes to talk about augmentation, but the exit looks like replacement. So keep this in mind when a vendor pitches you on responsible AI, because the company buying that AI may not be running a responsible exit on the people the AI is augmented anyway. Let's move on. UKG used the payroll Congress, I believe it was this week in 2026, to unveil ProPay with Workforce AI. It's a 6-feature stack. The company describes it as combining, quote, agentic, assistive, and generative AI to overhaul payroll processing. So it's 6 features, 6 variations on AI, 1 product. The launch is fine, but the angle worth noting is the timing. Remember that UKG cut 950 jobs a few weeks back. They are automating their back of the office payroll function while doing the same thing to others. So that's the recursion in the industry right now. The vendors selling the AI that's going to do the work need to ship products that demonstrate that they themselves are using it, which means cutting the people that used to do that work internally. And you'll see this pattern at every major HR tech company over the next 18 months, probably, but hopefully not. Anyway, let's move on to our next piece of news. WorkVivo, which is Zoom owned, rolled out Sear this week, and I hope it's pronounced Sear. Well, it could be a sear like you would sear a steak, or it could be Sear because it's seeing things. Anyway, it's a standalone people intelligence platform built on employee listing capabilities. So this the org chart behind it is actually a kind of interesting story. So Justin Black, who ran Glint at LinkedIn and Microsoft, is now the head of Sear. Phil Murphy from Qualtrics, Jamie Gonzalez, also ex-Glint. The leadership team is basically the Glint band reunion. And if you remember Glint, it was the employee engagement product that Microsoft eventually rolled into Viva. The original team built something a lot of HR leaders generally respected, and now they're back together, taking a second swing under Zoom. Built-in this week launched its employer intelligence platform. The pitch is that it's the first platform designed to help companies control how they're represented when candidates ask ChatGPT, Claude, or Google's AI overviews about employers. The word first is doing some marketing work, but generative engine optimization has been a quietly growing category for over a year. We've talked about it on the show that people are putting their direct needs and asks it directly into the large language models, and you need to be able to be discovered there. So candidate research used to start at Glassdoor and end at LinkedIn. Now it starts at the prompt window. So if you're a company, you have approximately zero control over what those LLMs are saying about you today. Built-in's pitch is that they can fix that. Their CEO notes that LLMs already cite built-in as a trusted source on tech employers. So if you can shape what shows up in built-in, you can shape what shows up in the answer. I love this move. Take your unique data set and integrate it into the LLMs that people are already using. This is the play I would go with moving forward. So it's the same playbook Intuit and Workday are running, but just a different vendor and a different instinct. So speaking of AI interviewers, I'm sorry. I actually mentioned on the show last week, but it wasn't in the wrap itself, that Ashby has bought Talent Llama as their AI interview layer. So here's the thing we're saying out loud. The AI interview acquisition parade is real now. So Greenhouse bought Ezra, Phenom bought Plum, Ashby is buying Talent Llama, SAP bought Smart Recruiters back in September, and Workday bought Paradox. I guess it's a year or so ago now. So if you're one of the other 30 AI interview startups that I know about, the clock is ticking. Either you're getting acquired or you're fading. There aren't enough enterprise wallets to support all of you as standalone tools, and the platforms that are buying you have decided the AI interviewer is a feature, not a category. If you're a buyer, this is a chessboard. Pretty soon, the question isn't going to be, should we buy an AI interviewer? It's going to be, which platform's AI interviewer do we already have? So congrats to both teams. We are chugging along here.
Research and reports coming at you.
Yeah, research and reports. Get excited. I'm excited because the BLS numbers actually came out last week, and I have been tracking a bunch of sources up on ilovetherap.com. And I really wanted to pull out 5 numbers here to show you what's really going on. Number one, plus I jumped right ahead. There we go. Plus 115,000. So BLS non-farm payrolls in April were plus 115,000, more than double the 55,000 consensus. March revised up to plus 185, but the household survey shed 226,000 workers in the same month, and labor force participation slipped to 61.8%. That's the lowest reading since October 2021. And the headline says the bounce is real. Internals say fewer people are even trying. Number two. Jeez, my mouse does not work today. Number two, 6.6% versus 4.4%. That's ADP's job changer wage premium. It's now only 2.2 points above job stayers. So that's the narrowest gap since 2020. And switching used to be the fastest raise in town. Sometimes it might be the only way to get a raise, but it barely beats staying put now. If a mouse company wants to sponsor me, the applications are open. Plus, the next number, plus 76.9% year over year. That's AI specialist job postings per the Aspen Tech Labs Job Market Pulse, tracking 275,000 plus career sites direct from source, while overall U.S. postings fell 2% in the same period. 2 labor markets running in parallel, one for AI and skilled trades, electrician wages up 8.7%, for example, and one for everyone else. Nursing was at minus 5.6%. Marketing, awesome, minus 6.4%. And admin support, minus 5.7%. All right, 66.4 thousand jobs and a negative 0.1% posting salaries. So that's what Revelio Labs' RPLS, built from 100 million plus profiles covering about 67% of U.S. workers, versus BLS's 20%. Hiring ticked up in April, attribution flat, but it's the second consecutive monthly decline in new posting salaries. So demand is creeping back, but employers aren't paying up for it just yet. And the last number, 59, that's the Conference Board CHRO Confidence Index. It's a new series record. I guess the CHROs are confident and happy that they're laying off people left and right, but making tons of money. So it's the highest reading since Q1 2023. The hiring sub-index hit 63, and 59% of CHROs plan to increase hiring this year, which was up from 54% last year. Now, that's 4 signals that are up, one market that's split in 2. It's a hiring market for AI specialists and electricians, but for everybody else, it is still a decision market, and it's still tough out there. I will say, from the people that I know that are looking for a job, they do feel like the job market is broken, and there is a lot of waiting that is going on right now. But we're going to keep on moving forward. All right. For podcasts this week, I caught up with Sandra Morin, who is the CMO at Scooch. That's SCHOOX. I don't know if I can pronounce that word. It may not be in my vocabulary, but I caught up with her at Unleash. And she made one of the cleaner cases I've heard for why talent acquisition and learning need to stop running parallel tracks. Let's take a look.
3 years ago, you couldn't hire somebody that had AI skills. So I think if you look at the pace of change across almost every role in an organization, hiring somebody that had skill A, like experience doing this, is probably going to become less and less important in the future because the skills that people need are changing so quickly. Yep. So we have to start looking for things like demonstrated adaptability, the ability to deal with ambiguity, people that are actually able to take this skill and build upon it and translate it to something else. And so institutional knowledge of your company, if you've demonstrated that you can learn something new, can become even a higher priority. By the time you hire that person, that skill set that you need could actually change.
The link to the full interview, including a discussion on where I should go to hang out in Vegas while I was trapped there for the weekend, that's all up on ilovetherap.com, or you can visit Totally Talent on hr.com for this and more of my stuff on hr.com. Come on, work there.
Click.
All right, I might get sick of the 80s hair metal band singing rap theme songs, but maybe I won't because I love it. All right. Buried in my HR tech brew this week was a piece about the Atlantic's reporting on emotion AI creeping into the workday. So imagine this: Slack integration scoring your chats for sentiment and toxicity, Zoom extensions reading your face in real time. This is already happening. These already exist. And so remember Burger King's OpenAI headset? I think I talked about it like 6 months ago, but they had an OpenAI headset named Patty that would be grading drive-through workers on their friendliness. Fun, because nothing makes you friendlier than being reminded that you're not being friendly. So the piece flagged the research finding that I want to read carefully. So it says that Americans only scowl when angry about a third of the time. So that's just a third of the time they're showing that emotion on their face, which means that the bot watching you is probably misreading your face and just thinking that you could be angry. Maybe you have resting bitch face, or maybe you make a weird face concentrating. I know I do this. Which means your productivity score you didn't know that you had is wrong on a regular basis. So I'm really interested to see how this works out. It's important to note that the European Union banned this stuff in workplaces last year. And of course, they're taking privacy of their people seriously. We're not. The US just wants you to smile more. So the full link is at ilovetherap.com. And you know what? That's it for this edition of The Wrap. The 2030 thought experiment isn't a prediction. I really think it's a North Star. I've been trying to figure out what happens to hiring moving forward, and I think some version of this is where we're going. With agents and the funnel collapsing and just all that stress that used to be on the hiring manager and the hiring teams and the candidate themselves not knowing what's going on. Have the agents deal with that. Come to me with an actual offer. So if you're not subscribed to the free newsletter yet, head over to ilovetherap.com. It hits your inbox every Friday. I'm working on a bunch of stuff over there to add value. There's vendor profiles, there's alerts, there's jobs, all sorts of different stuff over there. Head over there, check it out. Give me some page views. That would be great. And please subscribe to ilovetherap.com and check out everything I'm doing over at hr.com. And thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.